This is one of 3 episodes. The idea of the 3 episodes will be fundamental flaws in our everyday Nigerian experience that fucks up our psyche. And for the first one, I'm going to be talking about apologies. Apologizing and what apology is altogether. Welcome back, guys. This is Madness in Nigeria Living, and I'm your host, Gesi. And thinking about it, I should have checked the dictionary meaning of apology, because it would be very nice to have given you an Oxford or a Webster dictionary meaning of saying something like apology according to Webster dictionary is that. I didn't, so I'm going to just go with we all know what apology is. But do we really know what apology is as Nigerians? I think that's like the fundamental question. When you say I'm sorry, what does it mean? When you don't say I'm sorry, what does it mean? Can I'm sorry be substituted for something else like shortbread? What do I mean by that? When I say I'm sorry, can it be substituted for something like shortbread? It's a testament to how people apologize. What inspired this episode was the bonus episode I made on apologizing. A friend pointed out how I should do an episode on how Nigerian mothers apologize, and I laughed and I was like, how did your mom apologize? He said she didn't, she just makes his favorite soup. And that's what I mean by shortbread. So why would his mom just make his favorite food instead of admitting to possibly being at fault? Here comes the first problem with apologies, at least in the Nigeria demographics. Apologizing is an admission of not being perfect. But nobody is perfect, wrong. In Nigeria, by default, you are perfect until you apologize, until you admit you are not perfect. Let me tell you why I say this. The average Nigerian parent never see a need to apologize to the child for multiple reasons. The first one being perfect. If the parent is supposed to be always right, if the parent is supposed to be someone you look up to tell you what is the right thing to do, they cannot admit to being less than perfect. And there's a reason for that. The reason now being what I already mentioned. But if you also look at it from they are someone you are supposed to look up to for moral compass, why can't they apologize still? I just told you, when they apologize, they admit they weren't right in this instance. And if they aren't right in that instant, what other instances are they wrong? That's a question. And because that's a question no one is willing to answer, you have to be always right. And it's not just parents, it's your boss too, it's the government, it's anyone with a power dynamic higher than yours. But what does that do? What negative does it do to the Nigerian psyche? And that's where not apologizing problem one comes in. It strips away the humanity. A lot of times when we get older, we think back to our parents and we start seeing their struggles, and it's like, how come we never saw them in this light when we were growing up? How come we never saw them as humans? Because for one, they were always perfect. They never made mistakes, so they never had the need to apologize. Problem number 2 with never being apologized to is you position apologies as something that makes someone weaker. Think about it. What is apology really? When you apologize, you admit to being wrong. You become vulnerable. You show integrity. You show that yes, I can be accountable to myself. I can see the hurt I might have caused, and I am willing to put in the work to fix that. I am willing to build the trust. But that also means you are admitting to giving away your own viewpoint to the viewpoint for others. There are a lot of reasons as to why you want to do that, but not in Nigeria. When you do apologize like that, especially as a parent, you come off as weak. How are they now going to respect you? Remember, in Nigeria, respect is tied to power in a way that if they are not scared of you, you are not necessarily someone they respect. And that's why it's very vital to remain powerful. It's very vital to look strong. And when you apologize, you give them a reason not to respect you. Is this fundamentally true? No. But why do we think this way? Why? I think it's because fundamentally, a lot of times when we apologize, we don't even know how to apologize. We don't know why we are saying sorry. And we fear because we say sorry for something we know we did wrong, but can be mistaken for something else we didn't do. We would rather not apologize at all. Let me give you an example. Let's say as a child, you went out, you came back very late. Your mother, being worried the whole time, got angry, slapped you, started insulting you. You kept on crying. They slapped you again and beat you up. They overreacted because they were worried. But they are scared if they tell you, I'm sorry for insulting you and beating you that much. I was just worried. And honestly, you shouldn't come back late like that ever again, or else you will be punished. They have created a balance wherein they can apologize for overreacting, but they also show you that they are not necessarily sorry for the actions they took for punishment. But that type of nuances is something that is completely eliminated in the Nigerian experience. And that's why you see a boss, a team lead, your parent, your pastor, they can't apologize because they feel it's admitting to weakness and they feel it undermines their authority. And when you grow with that kind of mindset, for you to position yourself as someone with power, you see a reason never to apologize. And that's why it's no surprise that men are less likely to apologize in Nigeria than women are. Because men have been positioned to see themselves as default people that should hold authority. Which brings the final problem with apologizing that I've noticed in Nigeria is saying I'm sorry just so that people will get off your case. Basically, you're not really apologizing. You're just trying to control the situation by saying I'm sorry. And this is one you now notice more with people that have been positioned to not be in power, with people that systematically has been positioned in a way that they can't be in power. And so they see that since I can't be in power, let me make whosoever in power not pour their wrath on me. So what do? They over apologize. You see this dynamic with children apologizing over the littlest thing over and over again. You see the dynamic with women predominantly because of patriarchy, like I said earlier on. You see it with church members. You see it with employees in the company apologizing for the fault of the bosses. And when you over apologize like that, first off, you silence yourself, which builds resentment, and it makes the dynamic of the relationship more likely to be toxic. But secondly, when you over apologize like that, you lose sight of your own integrity, what you hold to be true. The same is true for parents who over apologize for their children. They use the over apologizing as a way to control the dynamic of their image. So you lose sight of yourself. When you over say I'm sorry for something you genuinely don't feel sorry for, you maintain an image of someone that is meek, and that image is different from the real you. It strips away your humanity. And because of that, I'm coming to the conclusion that we need to learn as a country to apologize. We need to learn how to say I'm sorry. And we also need to learn not to over say I'm sorry as a way to just make everything go. Because in honesty, when you truly want to apologize, you have to know what you did wrong. You have to know how you hurt someone. I have to understand that this is the harm I might be causing, and I'm willing to take in the step to prevent that harm from happening again. And sometimes that step might mean telling the person I'm sorry, waiting for the person to come to terms with it, and you just have to wait till whenever they are ready to talk to you. And even if they end up not wanting to talk to you again, you understand and respect their decision. But that form of apology is frowned upon. It makes you feel like you wasted your time. It makes you feel like you shouldn't have done that to begin with. And that's why you shouldn't apologize as a Nigerian. Yeah, that's it. I think that would be the name of this episode, why you shouldn't apologize as a Nigerian. Thanks guys for coming once again. This is one of 3 episodes. The next week episode will be on punishment. It's just different ideas that are like a part of the Nigerian psyche, that until you try to look deeper into the behavior, the mindset that makes different people act different ways, you don't really realize that these are things that have a deep root in the way we experience the Nigerian society. And this is not necessarily a unique problem to the Nigerian society. I could have easily talked about how this is a problem with power dynamics. By that, it's also a problem of colonialism. But those are just very broad concepts that has little to nothing to do with the everyday Nigerian man. And that's why I just wanted to focus on this part. So next week, I'm going to talk about punishment. And I hope to see you there. Bye. Love you.